So if you don't know me, firstly, my name is Jared. Nice to meet you. But despite being your run-of-the-mill Australian, I love American sports. And there are a few common features that most American sports share. Number 1, playoffs. Number 2, fans having fist fights in the crowd. Number 3, mascots. Number 4, mascots and fans having fist fights in the crowd. And number 5, drafts. The draft is one of the most highly anticipated events for an American sports calendar, with clubs having the opportunity to select the best and brightest young talents for the future. Well, I wanted to put a little spin on the draft and test it out in the English Premier League on FIFA 19. I also didn't want to go with the generic best young players going to the worst teams concept. I wanted to have a little bit more fun and go a little bit more in depth. This is like the Hunger Games meets the draft. So, here's the concept. All 20 Premier League clubs must sacrifice their best 5 players to the draft. So in total there will be 100 players exactly up for selection. So using a random number generator in place of actual human selectors, because obviously I couldn't get a representative from all 20 Premier League clubs to appear in the video, it will then assign players randomly throughout the 20 Premier League clubs. So each club loses 5 players but gains 5 players through the draft. I'm interested to see whether some of the Premier League's best players such as Mo Salah, Hazard, De Bruyne, where they go. Will they go to another big name team, or will they go to one of the worst sides? And I mean, how are they going to even affect the sides? We're going to see that out in the simulation and experiment part of the video. We will go into a single Premier League season, simulate through the season, and really see what impact this fantasy draft will have on the Premier League moving forward. So, without further wait, let's see what 5 players each clubs are sacrificing, along with the players that they're going to be drafting after that. So I'm not going to waste too much time. Obviously, I want to get into, and you guys want to get into, the players that have been drafted for the specific clubs, but it's going to help to know who is up for selection. And I mean, these graphics took a very long time to make, so make sure you leave a like for that, and Scorpion kick that subscribe button down below if you are new around here. But we're going to be going in alphabetical order, and I'm going to be reading a little bit off the screen here. But for Arsenal, we have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Mesut Özil, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Bernd Leno, and Lacazette. You'll find with these big clubs, they have a lot to lose, whereas the smaller clubs have a lot to gain. So in that sense, it is very similar to the real life draft system, at least for the lower teams. Moving on to Bournemouth, we have Lerma, Nathan Ake, Asmir Begovic, Wilson, and Joshua King. All 5 of the players, by the way, for every club has been selected based on their FIFA rating, not on personal preferences. Brighton and Hove Albion. The Australian goalkeeper, Matty Ryan, one of my favourite players, is up for draft. Then we have I can't pronunciate this bloke's name, but he is the Iranian midfielder or forward. Then we have Andon, then we have Izquierdo, then we have Pascal Gross. The Clarets are going to be sacrificing Defoe, Pope, Tom Heaton, Ben Mee, and Tarkowski. So 2 goalkeepers leaving Burnley. For the Bluebirds, Cardiff City, they will be sacrificing Arta, Camarasa, Bamba, Cunningham, and Bobby Reed. Maurizio Sarri's Chelsea side will be sacrificing a lot of big players. Eden Hazard, N'Golo Kante, Azpilicueta, Willian, and Cesc Fabregas. I'm very interested to see where Hazard goes. Crystal Palace will be sacrificing Wilfried Zaha, Guaita, Sarko, the new signing Maximilian Meyer, and Milovojevic. I'm terrible at these quick names, but Milivojevic. Everton, they will be sacrificing Jordan Pickford, Gay, Sigurdsson, Bernard, and Tosin. My favourite Premier League side, Fulham, we will be sacrificing Seri, Fabrizio, Captain Kearney, Alexander Mitrovic, the man of the moment. Mitro's on fire, your defence is terrified, and Stefan Johansson. Huddersfield Town will be sacrificing the GOAT himself, Aaron Moy. along with Schindler, Jorgensen, Meunier and Hogg. The former champions Leicester City will be sacrificing Schmeichel, Jamie Vardy, Harry Maguire, Iborra, and new signing Pereira. Liverpool are another side that have a lot to lose in this draft scenario. They will be sacrificing Mo Salah, Roberto Firmino, Sadio Mane, new signing Fabinho, and Virgil van Dijk. So Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, the Centurions, are up next. Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero, David Silva, Leroy Sané and Nicolas Otamendi all leaving, well potentially leaving the Etihad. I mean, Man City might draft all of them back. At the time of recording, Jose Mourinho is still in charge of Manchester United, but who knows what's going to happen to the Portuguese manager in between now and the time the video goes live or whenever you're watching. But Jose Mourinho, he is sacrificing David De Gea, his best mate Paul Pogba, Romelu Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, and Nemanja Matic. Newcastle United are up next, and I'm sure Rafa Benitez is excited for the fantasy draft because it's probably his best chance of being able to sign somebody decent, given Mike Ashley won't give him the funds, but will leave the Newcastle United shade or the Mike Ashley shade to the side because they are sacrificing Lejeune, Jonjo Shelvey, Jamal Lascelles, Dubravka, and Matt Ritchie. Getting towards the back end now, Southampton, they are sacrificing Vestergaard, Elyounoussi, Bertrand, Lamina, and Oriol Romeu. Tottenham have a lot of big players up on the chopping block. They are sacrificing Harry Kane, Christian Eriksen, Hugo Lloris, Jan Vertonghen, and Toby Alderweireld. The Hornets, Watford, they are sacrificing new signing Gerard Deulofeu, Doucouré, Pereira, Cabaselli, and club legend Troy Deeney. The penultimate sacrificing club is going to be West Ham United. The Hammers, a lot of players, a lot of their new signings leaving the club as well. Marco Arnautovic, Felipe Anderson, Lanzini, Jack Wilshere, and Yarmolenko all out of the club potentially. And the final side, a newly promoted side, it is Wolves. They are sacrificing Rui Patricio, João Moutinho, Ruben Neves, Johnny, and Raul Jimenez. So there we have it, fellas. That is the 100 players up for draft. I know it's taking a little while trying to get through it, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the video so far. Now though, let's get in to the moment you've all been waiting for. We're about to find out who is going where. Alright, so I'm going to go alphabetically again, starting off at Arsenal. I'm not going to delay it any longer. Here are the 5 players Arsenal have drafted. So, Arsenal have brought in Bamba from Cardiff City, Guita from Crystal Palace, Nicolas Otamendi from Manchester City, Manuel Lanzini from West Ham United, and Ryan Bertrand from Southampton. So some big players coming in, but arguably they've lost more than they've gained. Bournemouth, on the other hand, they have had an incredible draft. They have brought in Alexis Sanchez, Jimenez, Jonjo Shelvey, Fabricio, and Lacazette. So they have absolutely killed it, especially in the attacking sense. Brighton, who have the Seagulls drafted? Well, they have brought in Defer from Burnley, Azpilicueta from Chelsea, Sanktossen from Everton, Schindler from Huddersfield, and Troy Deeney from Watford. Burnley, who have the Clarets brought in? A big pick to start things off. They've actually done really well. They get Eriksen from Tottenham, Vestergaard from Southampton, Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool, Pereira from Leicester, and Aaron Bloody Moy from Huddersfield, the man himself. Cardiff City, they are next, and they have decided to bring in and steal from my favourite club, one of my favourite players, Tom Cairney. They've also brought in the man from Crystal Palace, Milivojevic. Thank God that's the last time I have to pronounce his name, hopefully. They've also brought in Reed, so they've kept one of their own players, Jamie Vardy, and Maximilian Meyer. Time for Chelsea now. A lot to lose, not much to gain. Who have they brought in? Well, they bring in Matty Ryan from Brighton, Nathan Ake returns to Stamford Bridge from Bournemouth, Johansson from Fulham, David Silva from Manchester City, and Jamal Lascelles from Newcastle United. On to Crystal Palace. The Eagles have brought in Oriol Romeu, Cabaselli, João Moutinho, Yarmolenko, and Leroy Sané. Everton's first pick is a very controversial one. They have brought in Roberto Firmino from their rivals Liverpool. They've also kept Jordan Pickford, brought in Cunningham from Cardiff, brought in Tom Heaton from Burnley, and Josh King from Bournemouth. My favourite side, Fulham. Who have we drafted? Well, we have brought in Harry Arter from Cardiff, Gylfi Sigurdsson from Everton, Hugo Lloris from Tottenham, Bernard from Everton, and Mesut Özil from Arsenal. So a lot of attacking midfielders brought in. Overall, as a Fulham fan, I'm happy with that. Alright, Huddersfield, the Terriers, they have brought in a lot of quality players. Harry Maguire from Leicester, Sergio Aguero from Manchester City, Iborra from Leicester, Doucouré from Watford, and Patricio from Wolverhampton. Leicester City, the former champions, they bring in Felipe Anderson, Dubravka, Paul Pogba, Seri, and Kante. What a midfield. I just realised as well, Kante going back to the side where he won the Premier League title. Liverpool, I'm sure a lot of you guys have been waiting for this one. Liverpool have brought in Cesc Fabregas, Ben Mee, Asmir Begovic, Henrik Mkhitaryan, and Mitro. You lucky buggers got Mitro. Take care of him. Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, a lot to lose for them. They bring in Richie, Wilshere, Neves, Nemanja Matic, and El Younousi. So they've arguably gone very, very backwards. On the other side of Manchester, who have the Red Devils drafted, they have brought in Jan Vertonghen, Deulofeu, Johnny, Fabinho, and Wilf Zaha coming back to Old Trafford. So they would have to be very happy with the business they have done. Newcastle United, however, they have brought in Willian, Wilson, Aubameyang, Sarko, and Hogg. Some pretty funny storylines here for Southampton. They bring back two of their former players in Sadio Mane and Toby Alderweireld. They also bring in Lejeune from Newcastle, Schmeichel from Leicester, and Jorgensen from Huddersfield. So Southampton, the Saints, they have been blessed. Looking at Pochettino's Tottenham, they have arguably picked up one of the best players in the Premier League in Idrissa Gueye. I'm talking about Hazard, obviously. They brought in Gay, Hazard, Camarasa, Tarkowski, and Andon. 3 sides to go now. Watford, they have brought in Pope, Jahan Bakosha, the guy from Brighton. Again, apologies to any Iranians watching. Bern Leno, Harry Kane, that's a big one, and Pereira, so they keep Pereira. West Ham United with 2 massive pickups. They have brought in Muni from Huddersfield, Mo Salah from Liverpool, Izquierdo from Brighton, Lerma from Bournemouth, and Romelu Lukaku from Manchester United. And finally, we are left with Wolverhampton, and oh my goodness gracious me, have they made some massive pickups. David De Gea, Kevin De Bruyne, Lamina, Arnautovic, and Pascal Gross. So I'm sure Wolves fans are very happy with that. So there it is. That is the draft. Who has your club selected? Let me know if you would take these draft picks in real life or whether you're happy with the players you have right now. I'm sure certain clubs like Wolves fans would happily take the players that they've been drafted, but sides like Manchester United, maybe not. Man City, maybe not. But now it's time to find out what all of these draft picks means. We're going to get into FIFA now and see what it does. Alright, so I'm going to be doing this in tournament mode just for the simple fact that I don't want any transfers to happen, so it makes more sense to just do it in the Premier League like this. So all the Premier League clubs are going to be here. I'm just going to take control of Fulham, but obviously I'm not going to play any of the games. I don't want to corrupt the integrity of the experiment. I'm just taking control of one Premier League side so I can go through it all, but we'll see how everybody goes. Also, just to let you guys know, because I know there'll be a lot of comments telling me about this, I have gone through manually and fixed up every Premier League's team sheet to make sure that all of the new players are being played if they are better in that position. Obviously, if you've already got a crazy good player in that position and you draft somebody terrible, I'm not going to be playing them there, but I want to make sure it's as competitive as possible and not make the results one-sided. So I'll see you guys at the halfway mark. Alright, so I'm going to start from the bottom. We're just halfway through, so not too much to worry about, but a lot of the similar suspects down the bottom: Brighton, Cardiff, Burnley, Palace, Newcastle. Arsenal and Man United though, not a good start for them. They sit in 15th, 14th. We are in 11th, not that we're too worried about Fulham personally, just interested in the total board. But a lot of the big teams not going well, so I'm interested to see who's going to be top. I'm expecting Wolves because they've got so many good players, but Spurs, Chelsea, Man City not doing well, Liverpool not doing well, and West Ham are coming first at the moment. Wolves, Watford, Everton very close. A very close sort of title race though. And I mean, I'm pretty interested to see who's going to be leading at the end of the season. Alright, so we're at the end of the season, but just before we have a look at who ended up taking out the Premier League title and how different the Premier League looks following the draft, we're going to have a look at a few of the stats. And I mean, Jota from Wolves has absolutely killed it. 22 goals, he gets the golden boot. Lacazette from Bournemouth, Aguero from Huddersfield, so it's Mark Noble got 14 goals. I mean, it's the usual suspects, it's just they got different badges next to their names now, so pretty interesting to see. So they're the top scorers. De Bruyne, top assist. Özil, second in assists. So it's pretty interesting to see who's going where. How about clean sheets? So De Gea from Wolves, Vorm getting the start for Tottenham. Can't remember if they drafted a goalkeeper. Lloris for us, so very, very interesting. I mean, as I said, a lot of names you would expect to see, just with different badges. But now, we're going to have a look at the Premier League table at the end of the season. So, Arsenal got relegated. Oh my god, Arsenal got relegated along with Cardiff and Brighton. They have done terrible. I mean, we beat them 4-0 at one stage this season, so Arsenal must have had a very bad side. That is quite funny to see. Arsenal relegated. Liverpool mid-table with Spurs, Leicester, Burnley. Burnley were in the drop zone, weren't they? They've had a good second half of the season. So Watford fell off a little bit. Man United went up a little bit. Chelsea up a little bit. So the top four. Everton in fourth. That means it leaves, I know, definitely West Ham and Wolves. I think Man City as well. So yeah, West Ham, Wolves or Man City. Who won the Premier League? Bang! Man City in third. So West Ham or Wolves? Who won the Premier League title? Bang, bang! Wolves win the Premier League title. Only 3 losses all season. I mean, we're not surprised, are we? Because they got De Gea. You need a good goalkeeper in FIFA simulations. They got... Who else did they get? They got Lukaku? No, they got De Bruyne. That's right. They got De Bruyne. So they've got a very good side. Not surprised to see Wolves winning the Premier League title. But fellas, that is where we are going to conclude today's FIFA 19 experiment video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. And make sure you leave comments down below suggesting what experiments or challenges or videos in general you would like to see in upcoming videos. But most importantly, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. It has been JarradHD here. I am out. Peace.